I just want to make one thing perfectly clear. My brother and the rest of my family might think you're Little Miss Perfect, but I know better. You tricked my brother into proposing to you. There's no other way he'd even think about marrying someone like you. So I will never accept you as a family member, and I will do everything in my power to stop this wedding from happening. Allison, I really wish you would give me a chance. We just met. And that was more than enough for me to see you for what you really are. I understand that you have a very strong attachment to your brother. That's a good thing. I totally love that you guys have such a good relationship. Your brother has decided that he wants to marry me. And Allison, if you really love your brother and want him to be happy, then you would accept your brother's choice. Don't talk to me like you know Rich. You've only known him for a year. I've known him my entire life. And that's why I can say for sure that he would never marry you. You must be lying to him about something, and I'm gonna figure out what it is. However, I could be convinced to overlook your deception. If you're willing to put in the work, I'll even allow you to marry Rich. What do you say, Leah? Interested? I don't think you're in any position to allow me to marry him. But if there's something I can do that would get you to accept our relationship, I'm willing to give it a try. What is it, Allison? You must agree to do whatever I say, whenever I say. I'm your boss, you're my slave. I own you. What? You want to marry Rich, right? Well, that's how this works. That is most assuredly not how it works. It is for this family. I'm his little sister, so what I say goes. Now, your first task. Go to the mall and buy me a Chanel handbag. Those things cost upwards of $5,000. That's way too expensive. Plus, we have our wedding coming up, so we're pretty cash-strapped at the moment. I don't remember asking about your financial situation. That's your problem. You want me to let you marry Rich without incident? Then pay up. You said you would do anything I asked, didn't you? No, I didn't. I told you I'd be willing to make an effort to improve our relationship. That doesn't include buying you a $5,000 handbag. Unbelievable. You aren't even willing to put in the bare minimum effort in order to marry Rich. I guess we learned how much you really care about him, huh? You don't even love him enough to shell out a lousy $5,000. Well, that settles it. Break up with Rich right now. Do it by text if you have to. Why should I? We can do it the hard way if you want. And what's that? I'll go to my dad. And what is he gonna do about it? Once he learns that you're cheating on Rich, I think his feelings about your relationship will change. I'm not cheating on Rich. But my dad doesn't know that. If I tell him, he will definitely believe me. You have got to be kidding me. Are you actually threatening to lie to your parents to get them to object to our marriage? There's no way they'd believe such a salacious accusation from you. You think they trust you over their own daughter? That's a laugh. Just give it up already, Leah. You have to know that you would never have fit in this family anyway. You'll save yourself a ton of shame and humiliation in the long term if you break up with him now. What do you mean I won't fit in? Is this about your parents' careers? I know your dad runs one of the biggest companies in the area, and your mom is a pretty famous artist in the region. I knew what I was getting into when I accepted Rich's proposal, so you're not going to scare me out of this. If you really knew, you would have disappeared a long time ago. I know that you never went to college. Not in the US, no. Exactly. You're just a gold digger after Rich's inheritance. You want money? Do it the way you've always earned it. Go put on a tight dress and stand on a street corner. Allison, how dare you? I have never had anyone speak to me that way before. That's it. I'm ending this conversation right now. I don't care if you are my fiance's sister. I will not stand for that kind of talk. Do you get it now, Leah? Huh? Do you? You should have listened to me before. I tried to warn you about what was going to happen. You just slapped me in the face 5 times because I wouldn't buy you a Chanel handbag? What is the matter with you, Allison? That's what you get for not respecting your fiance's family. All of this could have been avoided if you had simply obeyed my very simple instructions. And now you're texting me as though you're proud of yourself for what you did. In case you didn't notice, every single person in the room was appalled at you. The whole room went silent. They just wanted to be able to hear every word of what I was saying to you. I was dropping truth bombs left and right. You were dropping defamation bombs? You started rattling off all sorts of false accusations of me being a prostitute, cheating on Rich, stripping? You basically accused me of everything but murder. You don't have any idea how many crimes you've committed just now, do you? Crimes? What crime? The crimes everyone saw you committing? We have dozens of witnesses, Allison. Everyone had their eyes on me. Since you know, I was the bride making my entrance into the chapel. And just so you're aware, I will 100% be filing a police report about this. What? You're gonna go and tattle on me to the cops? Oh, grow up. Don't be such a baby. Nothing I did was a crime, much less anything worth calling the police over. So there's the answer to my question. You don't understand the amount of legal trouble you're in. You ruined this wedding. You hit me so many times that the entire left side of my face is red and swollen. There's not enough makeup in the world to cover this up. Couple that with how disturbed the guests were when you accused me of cheating on Rich, and we had no choice but to send everyone home. The wedding is canceled. Congratulations. Yes. Serves you right. Let's get one thing straight, though. I didn't ruin your wedding. You did it to yourself. Go ahead and laugh while you can, Allison. I'm not the only person who's angry with you right now. Honestly, I'm not even the angriest person in the room. Your dad, however, is another story entirely. And he's looking for you. I know you hightailed it out of the chapel after you slapped me, but where are you now? Actually, it doesn't matter. Just get back here immediately. My dad's mad at me? That's weird. He's never been mad at me before. Why would he be mad now? All I did was protect my big brother from a life of suffering and misery. You're such an idiot. Hey, I am not. Your dad was the one who told me to call the cops on you. What? So, you know what? You actually don't need to come back here. The police will go out looking for you shortly, and they will find you sooner or later. Wait a second. He sent me a ton of messages in the last few minutes. Oh no. This is bad. Really bad. He's telling me to apologize? That can't be. He's never made me apologize for anything. He always takes my side. You did this, didn't you? Did what exactly? The same thing you did to Rich. You tricked him into getting mad at me. No, I didn't, you moron. He's doing what any normal, moral person would do in this situation. You assaulted me in front of all his business associates, friends, and family. Shut up. I need to think. Okay, I can fix this. First things first. You are not allowed to call the police. Just like you wouldn't allow me to marry Rich? Yeah, exactly. Slapping you like that must have gotten something out of my system. I feel way better now. So, I'll be the bigger person here and allow you to marry Rich after all. Oh, aren't you gracious? I know, right? Okay, so since we're gonna be a family now, that means you can't call the cops on me. Says who? Says me, your little sister. You wouldn't call the police on your own little sister, would you? How, Allison? How can you still not understand how screwed you are? You have no allies anymore. No one is on your side. Not even your precious brother, who says he never wants to speak to you again, by the way. Liar. Liar, liar, liar. You're lying. I know you are. My brother loves me more than anyone else in this entire world. Even more than you. There is nothing that could ever break our sibling bond. Ask him about it yourself if you're so confident. Think about it, though. You assaulted your brother's wife at his wedding, ultimately leading to it getting canceled. How did you expect that to go for you? Did you think he wouldn't care? Not really, no. Yeah, I should have expected you'd say that. God, you're stupid. Well, he cares. And he's very, very angry at you. Come on. Why is everyone blaming me for this? It's all your fault. Whatever. Screw all of you. Hitting you in front of everyone like that felt great. And nothing is going to change once you get married. If you ever disobey my orders again, there's plenty more where that came from. I am Rich's only little sister, and little sisters always rank higher than wives. He'll get over this eventually. He wants me to tell you that he's never going to get over it. Also, that he's disowning you as his sister. No, he didn't. He says, quote, "No sister of mine would ever hurt the woman I love like you did." By the way, you should see his face right now. I have never seen him like this before. His face is even redder than mine was where you slapped me. And his eyes, yikes. They look like they could shoot out fire any second now. That's not true. You're making it all up. You're so done for, Allison. Seriously, stop it. You're starting to scare me. But I still know you're lying. My brother will love me forever, no matter what I do to you. He would never say something like that to me. So stop telling me such dumb, scary lies. For the love of God, Allison, would you grow the hell up? Whatever. It's no skin off my nose. Go ahead and think I'm lying if you want. Reality always reasserts itself in the end. In your case, I imagine it will start reasserting itself very, very soon. I'm done talking to you. Who do you think you are, really? I don't have to listen to you. You're not even part of the family. You're not one of us, and you never will be. I'm glad your stupid wedding got canceled. Now, break up with Rich and give him back to me. Never speak to him again. I won't be taking any orders from you, Allison. You might be deluded enough to think that you've won today, but let me assure you, you have not. You will regret this.
Good morning, Leah. How are you feeling today?
A little sore, but better.
I'm glad you're doing better. Anyway, I am so sorry about what happened yesterday. I want you to know we took care of Allison. She's been kicked out of the house, but that's only the beginning of the punishment she has in store for her.
You don't have to apologize to me, Rich. It's not your fault. I'll bet it wasn't very easy for you guys to deal with your own flesh and blood like that. So, what all happened after you went home? Did you get a chance to talk things over with her?
Talk? Yeah, a lot of things happened yesterday, but there wasn't much talking going on.
Uh-oh. Well, let's hear it.
I have never seen my parents so mad in my entire life. They started laying into her as soon as they walked in the house. Allison got scared, ran off to her room, and locked the door behind her. Then she just started shouting nonsense in between my dad pounding on the door. Like, "It's not my fault. She stole my brother from me. She's the one you should be mad at."
Jeez, talk about playing the victim.
After that went on for a while, my parents had enough. My dad kicked the door open and physically dragged Allison out into the living room.
Wow, your dad's a big guy. I'd be terrified to be on the receiving end of that.
Then he started giving her the lecture of a lifetime. Actually, it might have literally been the first lecture of her lifetime. They spoiled her so badly. Whenever we got into trouble, my parents would always get mad at me instead of her, even when it was something she did. They'd tell me I should have stopped her.
That must have been hard.
Well, I certainly wasn't a fan of the disparate treatment, but she was my little sister. I thought that I had a duty to stick up for her and protect her, even if that means protecting her from my parents. Honestly, ever since the wedding yesterday, I've been thinking I'm sort of responsible for making her this way.
Oh, Rich, you don't need to feel responsible at all. Your parents should have been more fair in their discipline. That's not your fault. It's admirable that you wanted to protect your sister. What Allison did, however, was twist your brotherly love for her into thinking that she could get away with anything. At any rate, she's an adult now and should know better. But in my entire conversation yesterday, she never once took responsibility for anything that she did. I can't imagine it was any different at your house, was it?
No, she was mostly just blaming us for not seeing what a monster you supposedly were.
How pathetic. So, your parents really never disciplined her? What about you, though?
Oh, they were super strict with me about everything. One time I bumped into a person at the supermarket and they made me run after them to apologize. Every time I stepped one toe out of line, they were right there to push me back in line.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, because of your parents' strict treatment of you, you learned the difference between right and wrong. You became a responsible, upstanding, hardworking man. Meanwhile, Allison learned all the wrong lessons. She saw the way they got after you all the time, but never her, and thought that meant she could do no wrong.
well, I guess that does make a lot of sense when I think about it.
Like I said, it's a parenting problem, yeah, but it's still primarily her responsibility. She could have easily seen you as an example of how to behave, but instead she focused on never getting personally punished. She had the chance to learn, but didn't take it, and that's on her. And the result is that your parents now have to make up for all the scolding they never did before.
And boy, is my dad making up for it. Dad's gone out of his way to let her off easy until now, but not this time. I can tell that Mom's not too thrilled about having to punish her so harshly, but she's not stopping Dad. That must mean she agrees with him. So, long story short, everyone is on our side.
That's good to know. You said kicking her out was just the start. What else does your dad have in store for her?
Well, the next step is professional punishment. I told you that Dad gave her a job at his company, right?
Yeah, but she was mostly blowing it off.
Yeah, you can say that again. She's caused him nothing but trouble. He had to pay another person a full-time salary to clean up her messes. But that's all over too. She's getting fired.
Yikes. Well, I guess the only thing we can do is hope that she learns her lesson from this and turns her life around. You went to college in Japan? I said I never went to college in the US. I didn't say anything about any other country. Why weren't you more specific? Why are you contacting me? I thought we were very clear. We don't want anything to do with you anymore. You didn't block me, though. Doesn't that mean I still have a chance to make amends? No, it means I forgot to block you. A mistake I will now be rectifying. Wait, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I messed up big time. But please, please reconsider what you're doing. Ah, so that's what this is about. You're talking about your study abroad thing, right? Yeah. Okay, well, you're not going to get anywhere talking to me. My parents were at the wedding too. They saw what you did. And after that, I don't think there's anything you could do to get them to change their minds. They're not going to give you any support anymore, financial or otherwise. But if they withdraw their support, I won't be able to go anymore. I didn't know that the only reason I got accepted was because they pulled some strings for me. Look, I know your parents won't pay for it anymore, but can you? Are you serious? I'll pay you back. Studying abroad looks really good on a resume. I'll study overseas for a while, then come back and absolutely rock the business world. I'll be the biggest thing since Stan Jobs. You mean Steve? Whatever his name was. I'll pay you back with interest once I make something of myself. It'll be the best investment you've ever made. And we're family now, aren't we? Won't you do just this one small act of kindness for your little sister? We are absolutely not family, and we never will be. You ruined our wedding and humiliated me in public. I will never forgive you for that. And for the record, just having experience in a foreign exchange program doesn't mean anything. Sure, if you have some other tangible skills, it might be a bit of a bonus. But you don't have any skills, much less tangible ones. What's tangible mean? My point exactly. You will never make anything of yourself, so I'll never make my money back. I'm not interested in an investment with a minus 100% rate of return. Come on. Why not? What am I supposed to do now? I was really looking forward to that foreign exchange program. And now it's gone. Everything is gone. I got kicked out of my house. My brother and parents hate me. Who's gonna help me now? No one! No one will save you, so go and take care of yourself. You were spoiled rotten by your parents, but it's time for you to experience life in the real world. But that's exactly my problem. My dad and mom took care of everything for me. I don't know how to do laundry, cook, pay taxes. I don't even know how to use a credit card. You should have thought about that before slapping me at my wedding. If I had known that you and your family were the ones who got me into that program, I never would have. How did you not know, though? We told you before. You did? When? We've talked about it a bunch of times before. Really? Then why don't I remember it at all? Probably because you were staring at your phone the whole time. Oh. We've come by quite a few times to talk about stuff related to your visa and other stuff, but you always just nodded along and said, okay, cool. Your parents had to take care of everything for you, just like everything else in your life. Well, why didn't you make sure I heard you? Have you ever taken responsibility for anything before, Allison? Anything at all? This is ridiculous, really. You have absolutely no responsibility, humility, or gratitude. That's not my fault. My parents spoiled me. Speaking of your parents, there's something else you might not have known. My parents are wealthy investors. What? Really? I thought you were just some random nobody. Again, my parents came to your house regularly to discuss business matters. Look up from your phone once in a while, you may learn something. Anyway, they also have a rather large stake in your father's company. Is that why my dad got so mad at me? That's a big reason, yeah. If my parents got upset enough, they could simply dump their entire stake in his company. And if that happened, his company's stock value would be cut in half overnight. It would be harder for them to raise funds. They would lose standing in the industry. It would be a total disaster. Wow, I had no idea. This has been a very educational few days for you, hasn't it? You learned all sorts of things. You learned I went to college in Japan, my parents got you into your foreign exchange program and paid for it, and they also invest in your dad's business. Now, would you like to know the one thing that ties all those loose ends together? The story of how Rich and I met. Would you like to hear it, Allison? No, no way. Yuck. I don't know how you met, and I don't want to know. Too bad. Here goes. So, it just so happened that your brother took a vacation to Japan while I was studying there. One day, though, someone stole his bag with all his IDs and cards in it. I was walking out of a cafe and I saw him looking around all confused and thought I'd ask him what was up. I ended up helping him talk to the police and file a police report, along with helping him get replacements. We talked about the reason he came to Japan, and he said it was a sort of scouting trip for your dad, who was thinking about trying to break into the Japanese market. That's when I realized who he was, and how he and your family were connected to my parents. We got to talking about business, and then we got to talking about our personal lives, and your brother fell madly in love with me. He called off most of the rest of his trip to spend time with me, and eventually we started officially dating. We kept our long-distance relationship while I finished my studies, and then as soon as I graduated, I moved right back here to be with him. Oh my god, who cares? Why are you even telling me this? To rub it in? No, not really. Well, actually, yeah, that's the only reason. Your precious brother is head over heels for me and hates your guts. How's that feel, Allison? This is not the time to be mocking me like this. My life is in ruins thanks to you. I lost my family, my home, my job. Yeah, and you're about to lose a whole lot more. What more could I possibly lose? Aren't you forgetting something? You still owe us for the cost of canceling our wedding, and I'm suing you for defamation. Wait, what for? For lying to the whole wedding about me being a prostitute and cheating on Rich. Oh, that? But wait, you're trying to get money from me, right? Yeah, that typically is the goal of a lawsuit. But how am I supposed to pay you any money if I don't have a job? That's your problem, not mine. But I do suggest you figure out some means of paying us off very quickly. I wouldn't want to have to resort to more drastic measures. Drastic measures? Like what? I have connections like you wouldn't believe, Allison. Connections you wouldn't want to believe. I have ways of making you pay. I'm scared. You should be. Once Allison learned how serious I was, her tune changed immediately. She went right away to her parents' house and practically got on her hands and knees begging them to forgive her. She said she would do anything they wanted if they would just pay off her legal debts for her. And you know what? They agreed. So, with her debts all paid, the next question was, what was the anything her parents would demand of her? The answer? 20 years of hard labor. They sent her to a factory for a subsidiary of her dad's company. It's way out in the sticks. There's not even a gas station for 50 miles in any direction. They have an employee dorm there where she'll be closely monitored 24/7. She's not allowed to leave there until she pays her parents back for every penny. So I think we won't be seeing her for a while. Hopefully, amid the back-breaking labor, she'll have some time to do some much-needed introspection.